President Trump issuing another warning yesterday about mail-in ballots. The president even saying the potential for voter fraud is a bigger threat than foreign interference. And we have seen several warning signs across the country. We've brought them to you here on National Report. Take a look at some of these headlines. In North Carolina, voters receive 2 absentee ballots. Utah, Postal Service sends wrong info about by-mail voting. Pennsylvania, mail ballots can't be discarded over signature. The president weighing in this morning again saying, quote, because of the new and unprecedented massive amount of unsolicited ballots, which will be sent to voters, quotes, or wherever this year, the November 3rd election result may never be accurately determined, which is what some want. Another election disaster yesterday. Stop ballot madness. Joining us to react is Bobby Eberle, Republican strategist and host of the 13-minute News Hour. Betsy McCoy, Republican, former Lieutenant Governor of New York and New York Post columnist. Good to see both of you here. Betsy, I'll start with you. The president calling it a disaster in the making. Do you agree with that? Why or why not?
I do agree with it. More than half of all the ballots cast this year will be cast by mail. And here's what makes it particularly dangerous. In the swing states, like Michigan and Pennsylvania, 11 of those states, the state law prohibits election workers from even opening those mail-in ballots and processing them, meaning matching the signature to what's on file with the state, until Election Day. That makes it inevitable that millions of ballots will build up and we will not have an election night decision. And that is the real problem. The Democrats are already planning on having this election decided in back rooms and courtrooms well after election night in several states, including Pennsylvania, which you cited. They're already suing to make it so ballots that lack a ballot signature still get counted. This is not what Americans expected when they agreed to mail-in ballots.
Yeah, Bobby, I'll bring you into that. I believe New Jersey had some issues as well. You can't really say these are unfounded remarks anymore. You have to look at it state by state, which, by the way, is how elections are done, is by the state here. And now, Bobby, we're seeing that there's potential for 80 million mail-in ballots going versus, I believe, 40 million from the previous election year.
Right. It's just amazing. And the president hit on some good points. You brought up some examples, but it's what people need to understand is this flood into the system is not something that the United States Postal Service can handle. They've even admitted it with their task force that some of these election failings, some of the stuff that you pointed out is because of them and they don't have the resources. The other day, 1,600 ballots were just found. They were found in New Jersey from a race that happened in July. 2 months ago, and these ballots are just sitting around. And the other thing to keep in mind is what happened in New York, where 1 out of 10 absentee ballots were invalidated. Now, absentee is supposed to be the next level up. The president even talked about it. You're registered. You request it. Well, because of failures in the Postal Service to get them postmarked in time, to get them out to people, 1 in 10 were invalidated. Now we're talking about the next level, which is this unsolicited mass flood of ballots to people. We don't know the voter rolls are accurate. They're just being sent out, and it is a recipe for disaster for sure.
Bobby, you can absentee vote. There are reasons for it. I'm sorry, Betsy, go ahead.
There is a way to fix this. Congress has the authority, even though elections are primarily governed state by state, Congress has the authority to pass a law to ensure the administrative efficiency and honesty of elections. They've done it at least twice before in modern history. They could pass a law right now that requires that all mail-in ballots be postmarked at least a week before the election and that they be processed in each state as they are received. That would guarantee that we have an election night decision, not something made in back rooms and courtrooms a week later. And that's what the Republicans in Congress should insist on. And if Democrats won't vote for it, then you know they've got mischief in mind.
Well, you know, the president was warning about violence after the election. You talked about election night. What would happen if President Trump actually won? What would you see? Listen to the soundbite and we'll react.
Well, the question was asked to me about if you have violent demonstrations. Yes, we will put it down very, very quickly if there is. Absolutely.
Are you making fun
And I think the American public wants to see that.
So he's pointing to that you possibly could see violence and unrest, and he'll take care of it. But the bottom line here, Betsy, I'll go to you on this, and then Bobby. Do you think you would see more mass protesting and protests turn violent if they see a Trump presidency for another 4 years?
There's no question that there'll be mass protests, but the public, the voting public, should not surrender to that. We don't want government by mob. We want government by ballot decision-making, and that's what Americans deserve. Congress should fix it right now.
Bobby, you agree with that? Do you think there are some folks that want to vote for President Trump, but they're nervous about the violence and wondering if that's the way to go? Do you think they're swinging on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is a major factor this time because, you're always trying to get out your base, right? You're trying to get them excited. And I've been talking to people about this. Hey, you got to have your energy. You got to be organized. You got to be excited. This election, now we're actually talking about people that need to be brave just to go vote because they are afraid of this mob mentality. Now, what we need to get the message out is that the general public, all these Trump supporters, that's the majority. That is the vast majority of people. It's not these small mobs that are vocal and destroying things. They want you to think that that is the way to go. And besides, the whole thing that is going on here, from coronavirus to this mail-in ballots, is fear. It's fear and chaos, wanting people to be afraid to exercise their rights. Stay home. Don't vote for Trump. He's the bad guy. This is what they're trying to do. We need to fight back, and I guarantee there will be violence if Trump wins. Because look, until what? Last week, the Democrats were basically pro-violence. They didn't say anything about these riots. They had the national stage at their convention, said nothing. Now all of a sudden the polling's bad, and Joe Biden, if he can actually say a sentence, he tries to get something out about it. But it's so insincere. I think the American people see through that, and Trump will win.
We are out of time, but Joe Biden will host a town hall tonight. Wonder if questions about, the violence that we've seen and the unrest will continue to be brought up there, along with mail-in voting. Bobby Eberle, Betsy McCoy, good to see you. Thank you for your words.
Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.